don't know no nigga like me.
Alright guys, Fula coming to you with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDVC. If you like this video, please feel free to like the video and also subscribe to the page. Now, I don't like getting into politics, that's just something I don't like to do. But I mean, I won't say it's part of life, but it's just one of those things in life where it's like, it plays a minor role in the scheme of things. Because I'm going to tell you something. This is just my opinion. I could be very wrong in this opinion, but voting, honestly, it really doesn't. It really does not really give the masses a voice. I mean, it's in terms of how it's done in Westminster democracy. In terms of how it's done in Westminster democracy, it really doesn't give masses a voice. So because when you vote someone in, this is the thing, like you vote the guy in, and then that guy in turn, he says he's going to do all these things and everything like that, and then that guy really doesn't keep his promise. Like, for example, when Barack Obama was in power, I'm going to end the war in Iraq, I'm going to end the war in Afghanistan. We fast forward, he starts more wars. I mean, we see what he did in Syria, we see what he did in Libya. That's like one of the worst things that he got going on was the thing in Libya, because what that did, it created a chain reaction that trickled down into other parts of Africa. You know what I mean? Like when we say now, you have these jihadists who have weapons, in Mali, these jihadists who have weapons in Nigeria, stuff like that. And a lot of these weapons happen from when Mr. Obama decided to butcher Muammar Gaddafi, and Hillary Clinton too. I mean, we heard what Hillary Clinton said. We'll never forget those words. We came, we saw, he died. You remember that? But yeah. But anyhow, fast forward, right? They get Trump in office. It was just a matter of time before he got a true platform to show how he's been really feeling all the time. Like, even in his business dealings and stuff like that. Like, at first you would think that, he likes these guys, like he likes, he likes all these celebrities who happen to be black. He likes, he played this role, basically, and he played it to a T, right? And so, but then his true colors came out. The true colors of fascism, the true colors of authoritarianism, and the true colors of neoliberalism as well. We gotta include that in the mix, right? And so with that being said, then his followers came out en masse, which is kind of like a significant percent of this population, across the United States. You know what I mean? It's quiet as it's kept. Nobody really wants to talk about this, but I'm going to speak about it because I've experienced it firsthand. And it could be because, when it comes to dealing with them, I have guard up energy because I know how they move. And this was just passed down to me from my pops and from my, from my uncles and stuff like that. And so what happened was, his supporters came out en masse, supporting him, being at the rallies, build a wall. You have people in school, even like people in elementary schools and stuff like that didn't feel safe to go to elementary schools because, what the kids were doing there, because that got passed down from their parents who feel that way. It's crazy because I was in a previous video I was talking about how the beach cities, Hermosa, Manhattan, stuff like that is like no man's land if you black. And it's crazy because there was someone who had a sticker on their car over there that said, something like reduce the crime, build a wall time. That's what it said basically on their bumper sticker. So, with all these things coming into play, with all this stuff coming into play, it just was a matter of time before, the teapot would have boiled over. You know what I mean? And so, we get to this impeachment stage. They're trying to impeach him and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, I really didn't even consider myself how should I say it? I really didn't even consider him my president. I considered myself honestly, I consider myself autonomous to the political backdrop of this country. You know what I mean? Because my set of rules are quite different, but they don't break the framework of the set of rules which this country was originally founded on. You feel me? But I operate by those rules basically. And so I never really entertained myself with his theatrics, but the time that it did affect me, this is the time it did affect me, is when he made those flight restrictions on Cuba. That affected me big time, because as I said in many videos, I have a sister in Cuba, in Santiago de Cuba, who is studying medicine there. And, earlier this year, I visited her. I was there visiting her and just soaking it up, you know what I mean? And I was planning to go back again, because I liked it so much. But, he made it so you can't even fly to the place I flew into the last time. And so when that happened, that's when I was like, oh, this fool right here, man, this fool is really on some crap right now. So when that happened, that definitely did piss me off. I'm serious. I was very, very upset at that fool for pulling this kind of craziness. I'm like, are you serious, dude? But anyhow, let's fast forward. Now he's impeached, okay? Dude is impeached. But at the same time, it has to go through Senate, so That's what it has to do. But my thing is this. Who they have planned may not be even better. You know, I must basically stress this, that, you know, one thing, I mean, Malcolm X really had it spot on. And I still listen to this lecture to remind myself, a conservative and a liberal are the same things. They're the same. Basically, they're two snakes on the same body. A liberal and a conservative have the same objectives. They just have different ways of going about completing those objectives. You know, so this is why, if they get a liberal, like, or someone who is for, like, you know, liberals in office, it won't be much different. And as a matter of fact, it'll be worse for minorities, you know, because I'm gonna tell you something, man. If you have kids and you're not planning on homeschooling them, get a homeschool teacher, because what's creeping into these curriculums are going to have black kids, like, I'm telling you, they're gonna have black kids like soft and basically neutralized because of all this transgender and all this same-sex marriage thing that they be pushing. And then you have to consider that the liberal foreign policy is not much different than what, like, Trump had in store. Like, I mean, when you really look at it, like, the candidate Bernie Sanders, who is another liberal, basically, he says he's a social democrat, but don't let it fool you. That fool is a neoliberal. Okay? Same with that Puerto Rican woman who just got the mayor, I think. She was like a mayor in New York. Same thing. You know, neoliberals. So when you hear how they talk about countries' policies, when you hear how they speak about, for example, they speak about like Venezuela and things like that it needs regime change. Like, they too don't respect a country's sovereignty. Okay? And they're not going to really respect citizens here either, you know. The thing is, there's a wise saying that what you do with power shows who you really are. Okay? Again, what you do with power shows who you really are. And I personally believe that none of these politicians really want to empower people. The masses, I should say. So my opinion is, I'm indifferent to Trump getting impeached, because I really, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't really pay attention to anything that nigga said anyway. Like, I mean, I can't give my energy to a clown. I mean, come on now. This fool tried to look at the solar eclipse without no glasses on. Just try to look straight up at the sun. How am I going to take someone like that serious? This dude married a call woman who basically forged a speech. So I'm not going to look at him like, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. I'm not going to look at him like serious. I'm telling you. So with that being said, man, I'm indifferent to his impeachment. It could be worse things on the horizon. You know what I mean? We don't know. But basically, I think for minorities, especially like immigrants, we just need to, like, honestly, just gear up and organize ourselves. And it doesn't even necessarily mean it has to be organized into a sense of like a political organization. It just has to be a grassroots organization where, you know, we utilize the resources that we have available and do what we can do, you know, and learn along the way too. That's how I look at this whole situation, you know. But I mean, put it this way, you know, for the Trump supporters and stuff like that and everything like that, I'm not gonna lie, I would laugh in their face, you know. I would laugh in their face. I would rub it in, you know, just to troll them, you know, just because I would want to, you know. And I mean, if Trump was right in front of my face, I would say good riddance to you. And I would probably say, you know, like, kiss my ass, nigga, or something like that. You know, I would rub it in, but I'm still indifferent to it. But, I mean, why not just rub it in anyway? You know? It's just based on the families and stuff like that. This guy has separated. And based on his, like, the fact that he uses those immigration camps for God knows what. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's all good. You know, it's all good. You know, but let's just see what happens, and let's just, you know, basically forget about it. You know, and so, I mean, Fula got impeached, and in my opinion, I think he's actually relieved, because he was like all over the place as a president. I mean, the fool thought Puerto Rico was a country, dude, which it should be its own country, don't get me wrong, but the reality is it's United States territory, you know. But it's still like, I still say Puerto Rico Libre by default. But yeah, man. But anyhow, man, leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Let me know what you think about Trump's impeachment, man. And we can just go on from there. Fula signing out. Njada.